G'day guys, a little different video for you today. We're heading out to the course and I'm going to work on my mid to long range wedge shots. It's been a minute since I've done that and it's such an important part of the game. So for the most part, I'm going to be grinding on that and I'm going to give you guys some coaching, some ideas, definitely the setup for these mid to long range shots. And mid to long range shots for me, I'm going to classify those as 50 yards and longer. So maybe 50 through 80 yards for me. And we'll go through a little system that I use for the calibration on those shots. So we'll hit some shots on the launch monitor, we'll get some wedge work in, and yeah, like I said, a little different. If you don't like this video, let me know. If you do like it, I would love to hear that too. All of your feedback is very much appreciated. So I'll see you at the course. Okay, so here we are at the course, about to get this wedge session underway. There's a little bit of wind today, and if you're working on distance calibration for your wedge shots, you're probably going to want to do this on a day where it's not windy, unless you have access to a launch monitor where you can normalize the data and that'll take the wind out. And that's what I'm going to be doing today. Otherwise, if it's too windy, maybe you could work on the length of swing, the contact, the speed of the swing, but you might not look so much at the distances. After I get a little warm up in today, I'm mostly going to be focusing on one swing length or one swing shot that I would call my 9-3 swing, and we'll take a look at that in a second. But once I calibrate that swing, it's very transferable. I can do it with my other wedges. Once I know how far those go, I can take distance off or I can add distance very easily once I've got a little bit of a baseline. I've got two wedges that I'm going to dial in today. The first one being my 60 degree, my second one my 56. Again, this is going to be the same swing that I'm going to make with both clubs. Let's first of all just address the setup for both of these shots that I'm going to play, or both of these clubs rather. So first of all, setup wise, I like to see for this mid to long range pitch shot, the outside of the shoes, outside of the hips, about the same distance. For a little short range pitch shot, we're definitely going to be in a little tighter with the width of stance. I'm also going ball position, middle of stance here, and I'm going to put about 60% of my weight, moving my shirt buttons forwards, about 60% of my weight over on that left side. Now there's no weight shift to the trail foot during this swing. I'm going to keep my weight on the left side, I'm going to rotate around, I'm going to finish with my weight on that side. Okay, what else do we need to do? Well, a little bit of wrist hinge would be fine. So if we hinge it, I'm looking for, in the swing length that I'm working on today, is going to be this 9-3 swing. So think of 12 at my head, 6 at my feet. On the backswing, my lead arm is going to get to about 9 o'clock. On the way through, my trail arm, my right arm here, is going to get to about 3 o'clock. And I'm going to try and be as precise as I can. Now what I need to add to that is consistency of the speed of my body rotation, so that I can provide consistent club speed to the golf ball. Now if I do that with good contact, in theory we should have pretty repeatable distance control. So remember that, 9-3 all day here. Let's go. Now I'm also only focused on total carry. I'm not worried about rollout when I'm doing this, because obviously every green is different. If we're hitting downwind, hitting into the wind, the ball's going to react differently. It's going to release differently once it lands on the surface. So again, just figuring out and calibrating carry distance control for those 9-3 swings today. .3 63.6 club speed, 69.7. So maybe we're going to be closer to 70 yards of carry. Ideally for me, I'm looking around 63, 64. Again, if you don't have a launch monitor, no big deal. Really get that 9-3 down. Feel like you're going at the same amount of effort. That feels like the swing that I want right there. 64.9 club speed, 71.6. So I'm really starting to get a feel of how much distance I'm going to have. It feels like about a 70-yard shot for me, carry-wise. I feel like I'm delivering good swing length. I feel like I'm hitting my 9-to-3s. 64.1 club speed, 71.2 distance total carry there. So in a real short period of time here, went from the first few shots to starting to get dialed in here relatively well. It's going to be real close to 70. Come on. 68.9. 71.2. That's right in the range there of where we want to be. So I'm really paying attention here to both sides. Am I hitting 9 o'clock on the backswing? Am I hitting 3 o'clock? One of the things that I see in my coaching is people tend to go much further than they think, and then they obviously hit the ball further. This is, I don't want to hit this 90 yards. I want to hit this somewhere around the 70-yard range. And when I hit 9-to-3, I'm pretty darn close to 70 yards carry. There's so much wind going across right now. I'm really not paying attention to direction at all. I'm just looking at the speed number. I'm looking at the distance. And again there, 72.1 carry. Yeah, I'd put that as a pass. It's going to be right in the same range right there. 72.3. As you do this, and I hit that one a little chunky, as soon as I hit it, I knew it was going to be short. You're going to start to develop that awareness before the ball even lands as to whether it's going to be long or short. It's going to be close. It's going to be a little long. Did that hit the pole? I don't know. I heard something down there. Yeah, I smoked that one. 81.2, and I knew it as soon as I hit it. I smoked it. Better swing length there. Is the speed going to be there? 63 mile an hour of club speed, 70.1. Let's move on to the 56. But I'm pretty happy with 70 yards being the carry distance, 9-to-3 from 60 degrees. Okay, jumping over to the 56 degree now. At a guess, if I'm able to maintain the same swing length, same speed, based on the fact that the other club, my 60 degree, was going about 70 yards of carry, I'm going to call this one in the 80 to 85 yard range, and obviously we're going to get it really dialed in because that's too broad of a range. Let's see what it is. I can feel with this amount of wind, I'm wanting to steepen it a little bit to try and fight against that wind. Hard to not let your instincts and athleticism take over. The important thing when you're doing this is don't try and hit at a specific number. Make the swing, make the speed, make good contact, see how far it goes. That actually felt like about the best swing from my 9-to-3s here. Flew 87.6. Definitely the speed was up, but it feels like about what I want to do here. That felt good too. 84.9. I feel like this is an 85 yard shot for me when I do this right. Just really trying to focus on 9-to-3 with good speed. That feels spot on. The last 3 swings have felt very similar. I'm around 74 mile an hour, 88.6, but I can fine tune that and I can improve that. You can get that distance control a little tighter, but I feel like I'm around the ballpark here. I'm going to call it 85.4. 83.5. Starting to get dialed in though. Feeling like an 85-yard shot from me. It's going to be right in there around the same number. Club speed was almost identical. It was 71.3. Carry distance 83.3. It's going to be just a skosh shorter, 82.6. It's going to be in that 85 range, 83.8. But getting very consistent on the club speed right now. Again, if you don't have a launch monitor, you're not going to be able to measure that. No big deal. As you continue to do this, you will start to develop consistent speed. It's going to be 86.1, 86.6. I knew I hit it just a little harder. It was a couple of mile an hour faster on the club speed. It's going to be back in our 83 range, I think. 83, 84. 82.2. Well, even though I was a bit rusty there, you can see I started to develop some decent consistency, and with some more effort on this, definitely would get dialed in very, very well. So I want you guys to practice this. I know you might not have a launch monitor or access to it. Doesn't matter, you can do this without it. First of all, start by working on the length of swing. Work on that one swing length, a 9-3, get consistent with that. Video it if you need to, just to make sure you're hitting relatively close to both spots, either side. Once you've done that, we're looking for consistent speed. So body rotation, that's going to influence the speed that the club is swinging, and that's going to provide consistent speed to the golf ball once we get that dialed in. Now, once we've got that part worked out, then we have to hit center of the face consistently, obviously consistent contact. And if we can do all of that, that's a recipe for really good distance control consistency. I want you guys to work on it and post down below. Have you done this before? If you have, what are your distances for your 9-3 swings? Remember, if you have more than one wedge, you can transfer this to the other wedges. Now you've got a couple of stock 9-3 wedges. Now you just have to dial it up or down to hit different distances.